Rebound taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. We got Sam right in time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spending with Sam Ryan time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, episode 29. Got kind of quiet there.
29.
Hey, hi, Mom. I know you're watching. I seen your thing pop up.
Hey there, Lori.
All the H word. I won't say it on live just yet, but really appreciate you joining us, though. And I'd like to say hi to everyone else that's watching us right now. Episode 29. Oh, wait, that's Sam. Never mind. Episode 29. A lot of hot stuff coming today. Interesting. COVID, man. It's coming up. It's on deck like always when we start with. Moving in a little tribe talk, little Browns talk, little Myles Garrett, well, kind of Myles Garrett talk, but a little Vernon talk. And then, of course, we're going to talk about Patty getting paid, brother. But that's coming up towards the end of the show. So
more money than some countries' GDP.
Yeah, for real.
Patty Cake.
Patty Cake got paid.
Pat Mahomes' father made $2.7 million his entire 8-year career in baseball. Pat Mahomes is going to make that in 15 minutes.
Oh, man. Just can't believe it. But, yeah, so hot show, some hot takes tonight. I can't wait. How was your guys' weekend? Happy belated 4th to everybody. We had a good old banger at my house. It's just the way that one rolls.
Yep, we almost lost an eye
That was a banger.
Yep.
It was fun though. I'll tell you what. A private fireworks shows are where it's at. Not that we had one, but they are.
Wasn't us.
No,
I had no. We had 48 hours to get rid of them, or get rid of them, or take them out of state. So we made a decision. That's just what it was.
We had to get rid of them. I mean, we made it.
Yep.
Right.
I'll tell you what. That beats the hell out of the old days of parking all the way at the Squire shop to walk the Walnut Beach for a 13-minute fireworks show.
Oh yeah.
Yep. We were hypothetically lighting fireworks off for a solid half hour to 45 minutes. Very hypothetical.
All I could hear
Allegedly.
was Ray Charles in the background.
Right. But yeah, so you got me, Ryan, to my left, the other left, this guy here, Sammy. There's the coffee cup down below. Big time Tom coming in hot.
Water bottle.
Yeah, the water bottle. Nice water bottle. I just got a red cup today. I'll do my coffee cup impression, Sammy. Hey guys, real good to see everybody today.
We haven't done a merch giveaway in quite a while.
Yeah, I know it. But so, how was your guys' weekend other than Saturday? Was it recovery week or recovery Sunday for everyone?
So Sunday for me was kind of recovery. And then Monday was, going to get the kids from the airport. So,
that's right.
Yeah, it was,
a
lot of back and forth.
I give Tom a lot of props. I think he went and shot 18 holes somewhere with John Boy McCoy.
Yep.
That would,
Yeah, so after Ryan's house, we went to Megan's cousin's where there was allegedly a bonfire with some alleged sticks of dynamite. And then woke up 8:45, shot 18 with John Boy McCoy, and then went over to our buddy Jared Frain's house, had a nice 4th of July gathering there, and then I watched the Twilight Zone new season all day, so that was pretty dope. That was sweet.
What's it?
Got away from sports for a bit.
Yep. But yep, mine was just total recovery. I'm not gonna lie, I drank way too much on Saturday night. I don't know if y'all can see this. I got a little cut. It's not a big deal. It's just a matter of how it happened. I would like to fight that gentleman. We won't say any names.
Oh my God, I forgot.
No big deal. It's fine.
One of the coolest.
Supposedly, we almost ricocheted, hypothetically, shot fireworks off that landed on the ground that may have faced the back of my house at that point in time, hypothetically. And then before that, though, I may or may not have gotten hit in the head with a can, per se, thanks to a friend of ours.
In defense of that gentleman, you threw the can at him.
I did not.
Oh, boy.
Total fallacy. No. I threw it up in the air and whacked it. I hate him.
Oh, no.
I completely forgot.
Let it ride. Just let it ride, boys.
Completely forgot about that.
Danny Reed running whatever kind of show 441 Go feels like.
You got it.
Just get that off my chest. So
got it.
Anyways, all right, let's hop right into it. COVID-19. Let me share my screen. I do have the update of everything. Make sure I don't click the wrong button here. It could get weird. Boom. Let me scroll up just a touch. Oh, wrong way. Asheville County confirmed 436, 44 deaths. What's that?
That seems like old information because I swear to God, I heard this afternoon on Fox 8 that it was 9:07 today.
Yeah, but I mean, all I did was, I'll be honest, I just
at the same thing. That's just weird.
Yeah,
that's another.
Yeah.
That's a
I mean,
to the accuracy of the reporting,
right? I mean, the big thing here is Ohio 805. But you know what? I was looking the other day, and we talked about it briefly the other night, and it was simply Texas has an astronomical amount every single day.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm not talking like we think 800 is a lot. If you look at Texas, we're talking about like 4,000.
Listen,
3,000 a day.
Everything is bigger in Texas, including
Jesus Christ. I was just thinking that.
Including the infection rate.
I was just thinking that. God damn
David, I do not want to work for that you know, the liars of the world. I don't know. I don't know if they are, to be honest.
Take it easy there.
Yeah.
Semi-pros.
I don't know. I don't listen to any of it, to be honest with you. I genuinely don't. I research myself and I decide whether I want to believe it or not. And even then, I'm probably still wrong. It's fine.
Listen, here's what we need to remember. COVID-19 right now is just like the Jefferson. They're moving on up.
Buck's apartment in the sky.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's on the rise.
Shit together.
I don't know what we're going to do. Like, I just genuinely believe shutdown 2.0 is knocking on the door. And it's going to be, if 2.0 comes, the shutdown, we're not opening back up until it is like guaranteed that there's not going to be any more COVID cases. That's the part that's going to be terrible.
Listen, if we go shut down again, my TikTok game is going to be so strong. You have no idea.
I don't even know how to use TikTok. What is it like? So I'm not trying to go old man on everyone. I'm stuck on Facebook. That's what I use, whatever. Like the only time I've ever used TikTok, and it wasn't even TikTok, it was a TikTok video on YouTube of
God damn it, I'll give you that.
Huh? And your height is like you start from the bottom.
Keep your ass in Tampa.
Sorry, I just got a message. But anyways, my TikTok game is super weak. I don't understand the point of it other than talking about video, or, you know, I might be David. I might be. Actually, I wouldn't mind looking it up, see if it's still there.
I tried.
But I watched the Lion. What's it? The Tiger King. I almost called it the Lion King, but the Tiger King, that stupid dance video that a bunch of people did. I did. Yeah. Talking about Carol. I thoroughly enjoyed watching the Carol Baskin videos on there, or whatever it's called. And But other than that, I have no idea how to use TikTok. Is it like a social media platform for just videos?
So, do you remember Vine?
Yes. Tommy hit my finger.
Yeah, that's really what it is. It's like Vine. It's these short, they're like, I don't know what, 8 to 15 second videos that you do, like, which is great for the attention span I have when I'm scrolling through a social media app. But if you ask a lot of people right now, that's how China's watching in on us. Ooh. But,
they're talking about banning it in America.
Would be so pissed because I just Vine was like my favorite thing, and then TikTok finally took over. I have actually done a TikTok. Me and my daughter did a flip the switch challenge.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
It is a doozy. It is a doozy. We're working on another one right now. I got both my kids.
That was a great video.
Vine is no longer a thing, then, is what you're saying.
No, so like
correct. Vine is no longer a thing.
What's really crazy about Vine is if you guys remember, they shut down at their peak. Like Twitter all of a sudden, we're done. We're not doing it no more.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Well, that's where change the topic
came from.
Yeah, but you know,
Candace,
some of the biggest stars came from that, though. Like some of these big social media stars you're seeing today, like King Batch, Lele Pons, Shawn Mendes actually originally discovered on Vine making like 6-second covers on there. There was a lot going on there. Like I always tell people, anybody who's living in today, don't be super hesitant to embrace these new trends and stuff like that, because you'd be surprised like how much money goes through those things. Like I would have loved to have bought in on that TikTok stock like 6 years ago, because you're making bank right now.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
So a good question, kind of going back to COVID, but Candace Perry asked it, and that is, I want to know what you guys are doing with your kids, homeschool or back row school, but I'm assuming it's supposed to say 2, but I'm not the only one that can, never mind. But yes, so my son, as of right now, all intentions of going back to school. There's nothing that has led me to say different, but the thing is, it's already been thrown up in the air, I think 2 or 3 times, that it may not be, it might be part-time school. It might be meaning like 3 days at school or whatever, 2 days at school, 3 days home, back and forth. I don't know how it's going to work, because obviously, work schedules, all that fun stuff. I don't know how that's going to work, but it is what it is. I think in my household, I'll probably be fine because my wife's at the schools. So if kids are going to be home 3 days, she's probably not going to work, but 2 days a week. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting cages.
This fall is going to be an absolute shit show, only because. So I've heard talks of a 2-day, a 3-day week. I've heard talks of half days. I've heard talks of going, if your kid has any sort of pre-existing condition that puts them at risk, where you could potentially have to sign a waiver of liability off of the school for them contracting there. Otherwise, you will be relegated to home instruction, which is just not it's not an option for a lot of parents. I mean, I don't know how they're going to do it. It's crazy to me, but my kids are going to school. As long as there's school, they're going to go to school. My kids are at the age, though, that my kids will be going to school in a mask. So from what I understand, it's 3rd grade up. All those kids are going to be wearing masks. So I'm not going to be that parent. My kids will be following guidelines the same way I do. People, will see me out and about. You will see me out and about, but I promise you, if you see me out and about, I've got a mask on.
Oh, for sure. So with me, just because, everything with Wyatt, I don't know if I'm going to send him to school, not because I'm afraid of anything, but necessarily being the driving factor. But the thing is, everything's going to be different. People are going to have so much on their plates, and I don't want my son just thrown in the corner, essentially, for lack of a better term, and not paid attention to or given the care he needs. like his physical therapy, his OT, speech, that kind of thing. And like with my son, he's got specialists that have to come in and they travel to different schools. So that's a consideration too, because I'm not going to subject Wyatt to Miss Smith. She was just at, Ashtabula, Geneva, St. John, and now she's going to Cork, you know what I mean? Or Austinburg. And I just don't feel comfortable with it. You know what I mean? So until there's something in place for him, until they can give me something hard, hey, this is our plan, I'm just not comfortable with it. But,
No, that's one of the reasons I don't even know if it's going to happen this year. I really don't, man. If we have this, if we have this big jump that they're expecting in the next couple weeks, which there probably will be, more so because of the holiday parties and everything that occurred. That's right around the time for school to start. So,
yeah,
I'm interested to see what's going to happen this fall for me going back to Lakeland. I know that back in June, they already decided that, classes are only going to go till November 25th. There is no return after Thanksgiving break now. So cutting down the last quarter of the semester. I personally, I really, really believe that they're going to go to, strict online instruction, particularly for college students, just because it makes sense. It's not just about us. It's about the professors who are in their 60s and 70s too. So school this fall is going to be very weird. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more on the sport half of it in the second half, because that's going to be one of the punter grunts we do.
Absolutely. What's funny to me?
Right, Sorry, go ahead, Tom.
What's really funny to me is, so I went for my undergrad, I went to a liberal arts college. It's one of the top liberal arts colleges in the country, and they have $190 million endowment. Okay, and they can dip into that for whatever they want. Okay, they've been calling, they've been writing, they've been emailing for donations so that alumni can fund students coming in this fall. The balls these colleges have. You have $190 million for this exact reason, and you're asking me, who makes $85,000 a year, to give you a cut of my salary for these students? That's ridiculous to me. When you already got the money, what's the sense behind that?
Yeah,
what's the thought process there?
Rich don't get rich by spending their money. So that's
very true.
That's an old tried tradition right there.
And then it is going to be interesting with these. Well, when you look back at everything, they said, when the summer comes, hopefully the numbers dwindle down, which we've already talked about, and how stupid that was. And we're in the middle of numbers just spiking higher than they've ever been before in some states. It's wild, but David says it best. Florida has no idea what they're going to do. No idea. It's amazing.
I will say this, Candace, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
of course, it's fine.
So that's one of the most overstated things that happens right now is the masks and the breathing, and there's really not a whole lot of definitive evidence that it causes asthma, makes asthma worse. This is coming from a parent of a child who does suffer from asthma as well. Gianna rocks around with her rescue inhaler. So you talk to pulmonologists, it's a lot of it is a psychological effect of it. You know what I mean? And I promise the longer we do this stuff, the more it'll become normal and people won't even pay attention to it. The overwhelming, the minor inconvenience of wearing a mask really beats the hell out of.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm going to agree with you there.
Yeah.
I still see there's one person on my Facebook that daily mentions how all these governors are basically becoming Hitler, telling everyone what to do, how to do it, where to do it because of a mask. It's kind of sad in my opinion. Again, whoever's watching,
I just have to laugh because people act as if This is not new. They've always been able to incorporate these rules and regulation.
Right.
Like they're doing that now. So in the name of public health, it's been, ramped up, or it's not even really ramped up. It's just new. I mean, do you forget? I don't think people remember what flying was before 9/11. Like you could literally, you could show up to your flight 15 minutes before it left. You got through security in about 10 minutes. You know what I mean? And it completely changed life that way. What you could mail was different. The way, you know what I mean? Like all these things were different. It's just something that happened and we learned and we evolved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to end up, honestly, we're going to end up walking around with masks everywhere we go, which is going to be part of life. And it's going to suck. And like I told my wife the other day and some friends, I said, it's having a kid at the age that they're at, it's going to be, something that they have to go through because, right now we're going to have to go through it with them, but it's probably going to be something that's going to be lifelong with them. And I think as Americans, once we figure that out and accept that change is when things will become better instead of just fighting it. But just a new.
So to go off that, Ryan, like to your point right there, like why do these Asian, like in these Asian countries, like they wear face masks all day, every day, and no one bats an eye. You know what I mean? That's just the way of life out there. They've accepted it. They adapted to it. They don't question it. They're like, hey, if I want to live, I got to wear this face mask, man. Like, why are we having such a hard time with it? Like, I mean, I agree. It's inconvenient as shit, man. I mean, I'm fat. I got long hair and I wear glasses. My glasses fall off me every day now. But I mean, shit. If I got to wear a mask so that someone else can be safe, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just a decent human being, I guess. Well, I don't know.
Right.
So what?
It's not about you. It's about people around you. And I just
will argue you on that, Tom. And I know this because I've said, I brought that up too. In China, they got used to it a long time ago. They've been dealing with SARS, which this is a form of SARS. This is, SARS-2 is what this COVID virus is. They had that SARS outbreak, and ever since then they went to it. But what they will come back with, and there is some relevance to it, is in China you don't really get a choice to do anything. In China, they say, like, you're gonna do this and that's it. So in America, we have choice. We have choice here. Okay. We have freedom, but we are much more free than them. You know what I mean? I've always been I will tell you this. I don't believe true freedom exists anywhere in the world. I don't think it can. I don't think it can. It doesn't.
No, man. You ever been to Abu Dhabi?
I have not.
That's about as free as you can get, baby. I'm gonna tell you what. Shit, man. Abu Dhabi, that's a place I'd like to be right now.
Are you
do
trying
whatever
to raise
the hell you
your
want
family in Abu Dhabi?
I would love to. Oh my God. You kidding me? I can have a McLaren in my 95th floor apartment, drive that shit right out of the window like Vin Diesel did. No shits given. Hell, I'd love that.
Yeah, but in Abu Dhabi, I'm not going to say Abu Dhabi, but in some of in some of those countries where people spend a ridiculous amount of money to be there, isn't the difference between so you're either wipe your ass with 20s rich, or you lick the ground for crumbs poor. I don't think there's much of a middleman in those. And I just know the way my luck works. I'm probably a crumb licker.
Those crumbs are probably delicious, though, bro. Those crumbs are probably caviar.
At least
you know what I mean?
At least I got a Big Mac somewhere in the middle here.
All right, let's transition a little bit here, boys. But we still got a little COVID, but I don't want to stop you. But 25 players test positive for COVID in the NBA, and the season starts in 23 days or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I shared I shared the updated schedule to our Facebook page for anybody who wants to see when the games, where the games are. 25 people, 25 players tested positive, and we haven't even started the year yet. Like I said,
what is that? I mean, technically on paper, what is that? I mean, how many players do they hold on an NBA team?
So there's 118
that are start. No, like on one individual team. What is there, like 10, 12 starters?
15, right? No, 12.
15 players. Well, 15 players, 12 active, and 3 like injured reserve or whatever you want to call them.
So they run with 12 and 3 just in case.
So 2 teams basically in a roundabout way tested positive for COVID. And I'm assuming it's not the 22 that are in Florida. I'm sorry. I am assuming it's part of that 22 that are going to be in Florida. So, I mean, it's just I'm going to go back to what I was talking about. I just genuinely don't believe that we're going to end up seeing basketball. It's going to be a last minute.
They are hell bent. And you know what I think is going to happen, honestly, is I think a lot of these seasons are going to start, actually. I do. And then I think they're going to end early, which we've learned from basketball that sucks.
Right.
Like, just don't start. You know what I mean? I truly
golf
believe
keeps going.
Yeah, I truly believe baseball.
Yeah.
I truly believe baseball. I don't even think they're going to get that 60 games. I think they're going to run into so much trouble that they're going to be like, dude, we tried. You know, at least
has anyone figured out? Maybe I don't know if you guys can answer. If not, I know Nick's watching. He always seems to know these answers. The ones out of left field. But are they playing in a bubble like the NBA baseball?
No, they
they're going from stadium to stadium, no fans. One, how weird is that crap going to be?
Oh, people are pissed about that because you've got football talking about playing, or a college football, which we're going to talk about later too, talking about playing a regional schedule to avoid this travel. And then here you've got baseball. Just, baseball's like that annoying asshole that walks into the party and doesn't care about anything. Like, they're just going to do what they want. We're going to travel. We're going to do whatever we want, however we see fit. And I think NFL is going to try and pull that same thing too. But what is really going to be funny to me is what happens when the governor of a state overrules the sport, which you could very well see happen in California. California and Oregon both have governors that give this much about sports and have already threatened to say, like, yeah, you guys can have all the sports you want. You ain't coming in our state.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly believe so the NBA and MLB is actually, in my opinion, going to dictate what happens in our school system across the United States. And what I mean by that is if the NBA fails at finishing their how many games is it?
The NBA is going to play 6. No, the NBA is going to play
22.
8. It's going to be 8 play-in games, and then I think the regular playoff series, right? 7 games apiece.
Okay. So we'll just say 40 games total. Obviously we'll dwindle down amongst teams. We'll just say so if for some reason the NBA fails between the months of really August and September. So they'll have the month of August. That's going to dictate what happens in our school system, because if you can't keep 22 teams at 12-minute team, what is that? 244, right? If I somewhere in there, 244 players that are safe, then it's not 244. But either way, call it between 200 and 300 players, whatever. But if those players can't stay safe in a controlled environment, how controlled is a public school system, regardless of where it's at? It's going to really shape what happens in our school system in the next
264,
month.
Ryan. And I honestly, so I think you have a great point there. I think you have a great point there. I disagree that it's going to be them that are going to lay the tone. I think college is going to lay the tone. I think when colleges decide we're not putting our teachers at risk. We're not putting our students at risk, because after all, the difference here is you have somebody being paid to perform a task, and then you have a group that are forced to do a task. So children don't get a choice in the matter. College students, they do get a choice in the matter, but they don't. Nobody joined college to catch COVID. Not only that, you're dealing with
But you got to sign a waiver to play.
Not only that, but you're dealing with an elderly population, and most professors, most heads of departments in colleges are in their 60s and 70s, I think would be safe to say. I mean, they've worked their ass off to get there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you think they're going to put their life at risk for this? Not in today's age, which this is the best time in history for this disease to have happened, only because of the availability of technology. Had this happened in 1995, it's country crushing.
Yeah, here's a great point by Pump Boy. So Pump Boy, thanks for joining us, baby. Always a pleasure to have you. Don't worry, I'll just do the pump. You guys just stand there. It's fine. Guy, he's been watching us since we started 30 episodes ago, whatever it is. But anyways, so what happens when LeBron or Harden get it? I mean, LeBron, one of the richest athletes in the nation, he gets COVID. Yeah.
Then people will care. No, when LeBron James gets COVID, Patty Mahomes gets COVID, then people will start to give a shit. Oh my God. Our savior has COVID.
How pissed off would you be if, during the heyday, like it's time for the Spurs to match up against the Lakers and Duncan's out with COVID? You're furious. You know what I mean? Like, you would be furious at that time.
I kill myself. I would literally.
I mean, but it's true.
I would literally do a Kurt Cobain.
I mean, we're okay. So picture this: we're in the what would it be, the NBA East divisional playoffs, whatever, championship game, and game 6, game 7, it's tied 3-3. I don't know the Lakers versus whoever else it would be in that game before the championship. LeBron comes down with COVID, because guaranteed right off the bat you have COVID. It's 2 weeks of hibernation. Can't even do anything. It doesn't matter. So then what? I mean, you want to talk about an asterisk already on the season without COVID. I mean, imagine the Lakers not winning the championship with their star player getting COVID.
Well, listen, so in the words of the great mind Michael Scott, I see your situation and I raise you a situation. So what happens when it's like you said, the conference championship, and LeBron tests positive for COVID, and because he has put everybody else around him at risk for that, and you have like 7 other players between both teams that test positive, and then you get to watch a G League game for the NBA championship.
Right.
You know what I mean? How
you're right.
Stupid would that be?
Yeah. My wife brings up a good point. So
disgusting.
It's kind of backtracking a little bit, but what happens when a teacher gets sick? Substituting. What substitute teacher is going to want to come in when a teacher just got COVID?
What happens, God forbid, when a teacher gets sick and a teacher dies?
Right.
And then
what?
And then you have to explain to your son Owen that Mrs. Rudabaker is not coming back this year, that she passed away. Like,
she ain't coming back ever.
You know what I mean? That's terrible. Like, this is what we're up against. This is what people have to think about.
Right. All right, let's move in a little bit here. Delete 8 Chicago, which, if I recall right, I think I've screwed this up twice now, but I'm going to probably screw it up again. Yep. Delete 8 Chicago is literally they're having the 8 teams from the NBA who suck
just
playing what do they call that in like baseball when you get it, you still get to play the losers bracket? I don't know why they're doing it.
Congratulations, NBA. You have your own NIT.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
Give them a hand. Now we want to talk about a
Sacco.
waste of time, a waste of travel, a waste of risk. Come on, dude.
Right.
Yeah, it's no point.
The Cavaliers couldn't beat the Charge. I don't give a damn. They suck this year. Move on, man. Move on.
Right.
Yeah.
Why are you risking? I mean, so now we're 12 times 8, so we're talking about another, 92 players risking that on them. Just pay them and be done with it.
Dude, I was in Chicago. I flew into Chicago in June, and it looks like I saw people in the airport in hazmat gear there. Now, contrast that to when I flew to Florida and I saw people wearing a mask like a headband and flip-flops. You know what I mean? So,
right.
But because Chicago's not playing around with that. So, you can count on mayors and stuff like that being like, yeah, you can beat it because we're not doing it. Like, it's so stupid. There's absolutely no reason for it. The risk is unwarranted. And listen, if they want to practice and they want to play some games and all that other stuff before the season starts, I guess the moral of the story is get better. Because you know how many games and scrimmages do they get to play during the playoffs normally?
None.
That's how many.
Right. Didn't the NFL just reduce the preseason down to 2 games too, if I recall right?
No, they got rid of it altogether.
Rid of the preseason
altogether.
Nice.
Gone.
Right.
Everyone's wet fruition.
Yeah. Yep.
No more preseason.
Roll right into it here.
God.
No more. What the hell was that guy last year that snuck his ass in there? It was like a movie script.
Say hi. Okay. Sorry. I don't know.
Is that a gremlin?
Full training. Just about, roughly.
Oh, God. What was that guy's name? Remember, he snuck in, like, slept at training camp, snuck in the morning.
Oh, like, Dante Giuseppe Sheehy Giuseppe.
Sheehy Giuseppe.
Oh, yeah.
So no more stories like that. No more stories of that one tool from when we were on that Hard Knocks with his dad going with the whistle, and he really kind of sucked.
Jesus Christ.
Oh God, it was
who was that? Oh my God.
It was that guy might be, I'm telling you, he might be the least likable of all the players I've ever met in my life. Like, it was just terrible.
He was the Oakland Raiders equivalent of Mitch Withrow.
I just remember his dad being, his dad is, 15 rows up in the third level, and he's whistling. He's like, yeah, he heard me. No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Cajuiced.
No, he didn't, dude. Settle down.
Cajuiced. Well, he was the man, though. But he was the man. No, he wasn't.
Terrible.
No, he wasn't.
Oh, he was.
Don't you put that hate on that man.
Ryan,
Don't you put that hate on that man.
You're terrible. Cajuice is terrible.
He's so terrible. He works at Barstool Sports now, not even as a blogger. He's just an intern right now. Like, he was an NFL athlete, and Dave Portnoy won't even hire him as a blogger. He just kind of sits there and runs for Coffee for Frankie, the guy that films the pizza reviews. Like, that's the level he.
I just could not stand him. Oh, listen, so horrible. Hard Knocks. I've always loved that show. So I was really, really pumped when we got it. But my God, is it just me, or did they feel like they were just stretching to get a story? Stretching to find something. And you really didn't have to, because the Browns are a dumpster fire. There were a million other stories.
Listen, when you give a whole segment to Bogdan Robak, the fourth string quarterback who just had a cool name, are you kidding me?
God, I forgot.
That was the most piss poor segment ever.
I
watched reruns of Kenny Powers instead.
Bro, the broest of the bros. I mean, that dude couldn't be
with bleach blonde hair.
So, as we all know, the Indians are going to be changing their team name here soon, at some point in time. Don't know when, but they are gonna do it at some point in time. So, as everyone else knows, who watches our show religiously, I guess, we like to do top threes, not top fives, 10s, 4s, 100s, top threes. So I have my top three. Tom and Sammy do as well, and I would love to hear the viewers' comments on what they think the Indians team name should go to.
I can't wait to see Rich's terrible comments for this.
Yes, he's probably going to hate everybody for it. But so obviously the Indians name is going to go at some point in time.
There it is. We didn't even make it 3 minutes into the skit.
The Cleveland Steamers. There it is, boys. So, yes, and I think most people are going to have the same viewpoint on it, but we'll see how that one goes. But I think I'm going to let Tom go first because he's probably out of all the guys the biggest baseball guy that we have. So, because I think he's going to come with the most professional,
correct,
right? Most professional standpoint on this.
So number 3, I was thinking the Cleveland Freight, because of all like freight liners and transporting goods like on ships and stuff. They're carrying freight. You know, Amtrak's a huge thing in Cleveland. It's all about industry of transportation and heavy exporting of goods, importing and exporting through the Cleveland area and like the shipyard. So the Cleveland Freight would be awesome and have like a big ship. Don't forget, like in Lake Erie, there's some sunken ships that a lot of people talk about, like the Edmund Fitzgerald. So that'd be kind of cool. Like pay homage to like Lake Erie in that way as well. The second one I kind of thought of, one of our state symbols is a white-tailed deer, and a group of white-tailed deer is called a herd. So the Cleveland Herd could be an awesome name, and it kind of goes back to
you said herd, right? Like H-E-R-D, right? Okay.
Herd.
Yes.
Like the Thundering Herd.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
right. No, I thought that, but I just want to make sure.
Yeah. So like a group of deer, the herd. I mean, that'd inspire some like a group coming together, you know, for a common cause, uniting under this name change, having like a big deer with like its antlers out, like, and then you could have like a bunch of different points, and each point represents like a letter for Cleveland, like a big points, like a big rack on that deer. You know, in Cleveland we like racks, not just on deer, but on other things. So, you know, that'd be cool too. And then just the final one, man. Everyone's gonna say it, but the Cleveland Spiders. I think it'd be super dope to go back to that old name, and how cool would a Block C look with a spider web in between it? You know what I mean? And don't forget, they film a lot of Marvel movies in Cleveland, and Spider-Man had some scenes shot in Cleveland. So how cool would some promotional stuff be with Spider-Man there to get kids interested? And you know, you could have Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland there. They were Spider-Man. You know what I mean? That'd be awesome to have that kind of thing. So those are my 3 ideas. Take them as you will.
Sammy, you're on deck.
All right. So my number 1, which I'm going to change only because I think that makes the most sense. So I think everybody is going to agree on is the Spiders. It makes the most sense. Tom, I got that image. So that's what it looks like. That Block C with the spider. That's the one I saw, which I think looks really, really great.
Where do you have that at?
Huh?
Where's that at?
So I got that on Google, but that was the one I saw on Twitter too. So that seems to be one of the most popular themes with that. But so in order, well, not in any particular order, but my first one, Lake Erie's full of walleye. So how about the Cleveland Walleyes? I thought would be cool.
Yeah.
Putting that out there.
Another one that so Lake Erie, Cleveland, the captains of Lake County, I think they could very easily just take on that that name. There are plenty of other. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Yankees are the Yankees all throughout their entire club, like from
except for Trenton. It's the Trenton Thunder, but everything else is the Yankees.
What is that?
Yeah,
Single-A?
Trenton used to be AAA. I believe they might be single A now.
Okay, but I guess what I'm getting at with that is that it's not unheard of for a minor league and a major league club to have the same name. So I think Captains really works well, considering we have the lake, and you really got to play up the lake. And then I got on Facebook, I put this out there, and somebody brought up a really great idea. And this is, maybe it doesn't work for anybody else, but it definitely hits for me. And I don't even like rock and roll, but I thought Cleveland Buzzards would be kick ass because of WMMS, the Buzzard from back in the day. That was like a Cleveland icon. So, I mean, you could work that in, and that goofy buzzard with a blonde mullet. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know about the Buzzard. So I'll go with mine real quick. So Sammy took the Captains, so I'm going to just kind of adjust a little bit because I do like the Captains. Take it from Lake County Captains. You said that, right, Sammy?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to probably go with the Midgies. I do like that one just because of that series with the Yankees when I can't remember the pitcher that was up and all those bugs were on his face, and it was great.
Oh, God, what was his name? Joba
Chamberlain.
Yep.
Who later came
Joba Chamberlain. Yep, he did. And then, but had all kinds of crap on his face from those bugs coming over from Lake Erie. My number 2.
Native American. Was he Native American or was he Jewish?
Joba Chamberlain is Native American.
Native American, okay. I knew he had something that was special because he was one of few that of that lineage that was in the MLB at that time. So people really talked about that a lot.
My number 2, and I don't think it would work, but I just like the way it sounds. But the Cleveland Buckeyes, like I said, for obvious reasons, the Buckeyes probably isn't going to work. But I like it.
It's terrible. That's right. It's terrible.
My number 1. My number 1. Okay. My number 1 is going to be the Cleveland Guardians. I don't know why I like it so much, but I think it sounds great, and it's all about like the Guardians are somehow it's like a god of the highway or something. I don't know what, but I like it. I think it sounds good, and the image is amazing. Let me see if I can just pop it up real quick. Hold on, let me see if it's
How about
right
the
there.
Cleveland Nessies? What's
the Cleveland what?
The Cleveland Nessies, like the Loch Ness Monster. We've already got
cool
monsters.
But look at the Guardians. Look at this helmet guy. It's like a Roman god.
That looks
getting
like
ready to bulldoze some people.
Due tomorrow, and you remembered at 5:30 in the morning.
No, it doesn't. Don't you start your crap.
First of all,
not a shot.
That looks like Napoleon Dynamite drew that with a pair of Rose Art markers.
But look at the Cleveland Guardians, the name. I like it.
That
I like
looks like
it.
he worked on the shading on the upper lip for 13 minutes.
Whatever. I like it. I don't care.
You like the Buckeyes too, so you don't count.
It does. It just got a good ring to it. The Cleveland Buckeyes, the Cleveland Guardians. But I will tell you, let me bring the screen back up. Here is the Vegas odds. This is interesting to me.
Yeah, I am.
I'm going to just show it to you guys. All right, so Vegas odds as of July 4.
Let me interrupt you because I promise you can mark this down right now, everybody watching. If we call the Indians the Cleveland Rockers, I will never watch another baseball game in my life.
Never.
Yeah. So the odds are I don't know. I don't bet. I don't gamble really on anything. I don't know whether or not like the top plus 150 means like it's like the one that's supposed to win or not, but I'm guessing from top to bottom, that's what it's supposed to be. So the Cleveland Naps are plus 150, Spiders, Guardians, Wild Thing, Buckeyes, and Rocks. Why the Rocks? That sounds so stupid.
Are
we supposed to be like a
Drew
pebble
Carey,
on
Cleveland
the beach?
Rocks.
Yeah,
no,
I
the
know,
Cleveland Rocks.
but...
Carey. Yeah.
Yeah,
like Cleveland rocks. I could see it now. Then I'm saying it. It's not meant to be like a stone. It's meant to be.
Yeah, like
Cleveland
Rock. Cleveland
Rockers. Nope.
Right.
I'm out. I'm out.
Anyone in the audience have a better name?
What about the Cleveland Shore?
Oh, there it is. See,
like the shore
I
of
didn't
Lake
know
Erie,
that Guardian
Cleveland
statue's
Shore.
on the road right by Progressive Field.
Well, I mean,
perfect.
I wouldn't be
predetermined.
I would be more like shoremen. The Cleveland Shoremen.
Shoremen, okay.
You know what I mean? I'd be on some.
The Doobies. That was actually one that I read before, AJ.
First of all,
I did read that.
Dobies,
whatever. It's stupid, anyways. I mean, let's just be honest.
First
like
of all,
Larry Doby.
Like, okay, if there is a lot, why?
You know why it's Doby, right? You know why that's
no, I don't.
Larry Doby.
The Doby brothers. I don't know
not the Doby brothers.
I don't know. No, nor do I care.
You said the Doby brothers.
What's next? The Cleveland Michael McDonald's?
Oh my God.
I don't know.
Jesus
I don't care. I
Michael
genuinely
McDonald.
don't care.
Larry Doby is the first African American to play baseball in the American League. The Cleveland Indians signed him. He wasn't in a group that sang "What a Fool Believes You."
I don't even know what that song is. Nor back to not
know
caring.
who the Doby brothers are.
Oh my God.
There you go. The Cleveland Potholes.
That might be my favorite thing that's ever happened on this show. He said,
I'm sorry.
Brothers.
Christ and
Oh
hell.
God, it's been a show already.
No, see, I always thought it was like,
Oh my God.
I don't know, Jackie Robinson.
Well, he's national.
National League. Larry Doby was
I'm halfway right. My bad that I didn't know that guy was
right.
the
It's
guy
kind of
in the
a big
American.
deal though, because the Cleveland Indians were
It
they were the first American League team to sign an African American. Larry Doby was. That's why it's a big deal.
Seriously, what if they do the Cleveland Kings after LeBron? You can't name a team after LeBron James.
I bet you if they wanted to name them the Cleveland Tomies, you'd be all over that.
No, I wouldn't be. Toby Keith?
I said Tommy, dummy.
Tomies.
Oh, Tommy. I thought you said Toby. No, I would not like the Cleveland Tomies.
All right, Tom. I'm
Not
gonna
a chance.
this one. It's been a good show. We almost
All right, Sam. Hey,
My
have a
bad.
good one, brother. Right. All right.
All right, we do have
Revis,
to
we
barrel
need you on the show now.
through.
Revis, call in.
My bad that I don't follow it. The Cleveland Polkas
Oh,
per Joe
right.
Rich. Anyways,
Cleveland Polka.
Cookie Carrasco opts in. Is it worth the risk? So as we talked about, I think we talked about before, but there's been a couple of players that, especially in the NBA, but they decided that, it's not worth the risk of getting Corona. They're not coming back. Carrasco coming in. But I don't know if that's really related to Corona more as it's just a 60-game season. Thank you. I am always hot.
Well,
Let it ride.
Carlos Carrasco's whole thing, the reason that it's such a big deal is because the man still has leukemia. So the thing is he's more high risk than anyone on that roster right now. So I think I really think it's a bad move on his part, man. I mean, all it's going to take is one case, and that guy is going to be shit out of luck. I mean, and Cookie's a prolific player.
I'm not embarrassing myself. I just don't care. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to tell you, it's a bad risk. I commend him for wanting to play, especially taking this leadership role now that Corey Kluber's gone. That's a big thing without Kluber, who's been a stalwart in the rotation for the past 8 years. You got Carrasco now as the old head, the vet. But the thing is, man, with this leukemia still kicking around in his system, because the shit just doesn't magically go away. I think the risk far outweighs the reward for him, big time. Especially if you're like Chris Antonetti and you're like, oh, our farm system's stock full of pitchers, so we got a ton of pitchers. Then put your money where your mouth is and call up a goddamn pitcher, and don't put the pressure on Cookie, the unspoken pressure back.
Well, so I completely agree with you, Tom. I think you're dead on. Cookie Carrasco, you had leukemia. It should be an absolute no-go for you. I will say this from somebody who is very close to the situation and somebody who's battling cancer. I think that there is a level of hopelessness or helplessness that kind of takes over for them. And at some point they're like, screw it, I'm going to do it against their own better health, because they want control. There's a loss of control for people who are suffering from that. And I think that's what plays a huge part in his choice. It's not the right choice. And this is why people, need to be guided. The other thing is there's only one city in that I can think of that's ever been sued for their lack of cleanliness and their athletes, and that would be Cleveland. From Cleveland's own Joe Juravicious, suing them because those dirty ass locker rooms. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that this would be the greatest place for him to play. I think it's very risky. I understand his need to triumph over, God's ultimate punishment to humans, but somebody needs to step in and let him know it's not a good idea. It's just not a good idea.
Right.
The same way that people, I'm sure, stepped into Chris Bosh when he had to step away, and had to, tell him like it's just not worth your life. I think that's where we are with him. It's not worth your life.
No, all right, I'm not even going to comment because I don't really know, to be honest with you. It's just genuine. I'm not going to talk about something I don't really know about. So, Frankie Lindor, only 60 games. Is that fair? So
we should have put that in punter grunt.
Yeah, we could have, but we got a good punter grunt segment coming up, so let's not ruin it. But so I'm going to say no. I mean, just in a fan's perspective, we all know Lindor is foot's already out the door, just waiting on the right team, whatever it may be. It's going to suck to see him go because all that's going to happen is we're going to be back to square one, and we're going to be the Indians.
One of a good friend of mine and a very, very diligent listener, AJ Long. He deserves a shout out. So AJ Long has been battling one of the worst that you can get in pancreatic cancer now. So, we're here with you, man. You've been my friend for a very long time. We all support you on this fight. It's brave, but I just wanted to give him a shout out because these people like AJ and the others battling that garbage bullshit that we somehow have contracted in humans, they deserve a lot of credit because it is an ugly bastard of a disease.
Yeah,
for sure.
But so having Lindor there, only 60 games is going to suck for Cleveland. It's going to, I mean, who's going to fill in? Who can step into Lindor's shoes and play like he plays?
Dude, I think
nobody.
Mercado is going to do, but I don't. And Tom, correct me if I'm wrong here. I just don't think Mercado is that transcendent guy that he is. Like Mercado, I think is good, but I don't think he's like, let's all bust our ass to get to the ballpark to watch him good.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is that you bring up a good point. The only player on that team, well, there's two players on that team that if Jose Ramirez could be consistent, or if Tyler Naquin is anything as he was advertised coming out into the draft, if Tyler Naquin were good, I'd have no problem with Frankie leaving because at least we got Tyler Naquin. But the thing is, it's not fair that the 60 games counts as a full service year. But does it even matter at this point?
Right.
We're not going anywhere. This team literally isn't going anywhere. So the thing is, it's fair for Frankie. And honestly, as Cleveland fans, I think we can all agree we owe it to Frankie to go out there and raise his stock for whoever wants benefits him to go to a contender. Maybe that contender's not maybe sold on Frankie yet, like as a leadoff hitter. Maybe they have a leadoff hitter and they're like, I don't know if trading for a really good shortstop and a above average leadoff hitter is going to really put me over the top. But if we go out there and we pimp him out and we put him out there, not only does it benefit Frankie because he's going to go somewhere that's going to really be good for him, but I pray to God that team we trade him to has a good farm system, man, because we ain't getting an MLB ready player for Frankie from a contender. That's just.
But is he at the?
We're getting.
Is he at the end
players.
of his contract with the Cleveland Browns or Cleveland Indians?
No, no, he's 2021. No, 2021. He has an. Yeah. But it don't even matter. Just get rid of him and while his stock is hot, because what happens?
Yeah.
Next year he could get hurt. You got to do right by Frankie, just like everyone in the world says you had to do right by LeBron James. You know what I mean? Like, do right by him. Do right by Kyrie. Do right by Frankie, man. He deserves it. He gave his heart and soul to this team. We brought him in when he couldn't speak English, and we made him comfortable. And we made him into who he is through his talent. But we pimped him out. So only in Cleveland could he have reached this stratosphere of superstardom because he's all we had. You know what I mean? If he were in New York, he would have just been another guy for a while. He was it for us, man. He was it. And I'm going to be so sad when he's gone, man. So sad.
I can't stand it. I'm so sick of the Cleveland Indians organization and the way they run it, and it's ridiculous. It's horse shit. There is no reason that they can't pay him that money other than the fact that they don't want to pay him that money. It's not going to cripple the organization. There is no cap in baseball. You can find that money if you need to pay others. There is money there. So if you can't afford to pay the players, then sell it to a guy who wants to pay the players. If not, in the words of Jay Corlew, go play soccer. Get the hell out of here. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the Gophers getting the pass. I'm sick of Cleveland Indians in general.
It's actually financially and fiscally irresponsible to not try to re-sign Frankie. Fiscally and financially.
Yep.
Like, it's irresponsible. It's gross negligence on the part of management. Antonetti really shows that he has no balls. Because
the thing I don't understand is,
like, screw you, asshole.
How much does Frankie Lindor bring in money-wise, whether it's for the Indians themselves or the businesses right around the stadium there? I mean, it's got to be astronomical.
It's not just the businesses in Cleveland, though. It's Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic. It's those Spanish-speaking countries that are around the United States, man. They get interested in the teams that those players are on. So a lot of that money that you see, like Puerto Rico, let's say, you got Indians gear everywhere because Frankie's from that town, let's say, and he's their boy. So they're spending that money in the MLB store. And those aren't tiny-ass towns. Those aren't tiny towns. Sammy, Puerto Rico, baby.
That's me. That's why
everything I do is Puerto Rico. Okay?
That's why I'm rocking with them. But you know what? They're going to let him go just like they do every other talent. And that's why James Dolan and the Cleveland Indians can kiss my whole ass. James Dolan, this has been a long time, a real long time coming for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. All right, I think we should run right into our first break real quick. But I know Tom's got some interesting news for us, I do believe. Right, Tom?
Hell yeah, guys. So, all right, for own goal.
Interesting news.
For own goal nation.
Oh, hold on. We gotta break it out.
Should we call our followers goalies? Should they be goalies?
I'm not opposed to that.
I like that.
All right. Goalies. Here's what it is. All right. So we all know that with everything going on, we're up against it right here. Me, Ryan, and Sammy are up against it. Sports content every week, turning something out. And I think we do a decent job. But sometimes I feel, and I think that Ryan feels, Sammy might feel it sometimes, and I know goalies, you might feel this way. Sometimes sports, it's kind of like, well, what more can you talk about? So a friend of ours, a friend of the show, Danny Reed, and I are going to be throwing out every 2 weeks a pre-recorded podcast where we talk about film, television, music, and books. Just a plethora of entertainment type stuff. All right. We could be talking about Game of Thrones one week. Next segment, we could be talking about Christopher Nolan films and like all sorts of different shit. You know what I mean? Danny's going to start writing for our blog in a sports capacity and in this other capacity. We don't have a name for this show yet, but look for it in a couple weeks. I'm very psyched to bring Danny on. I know Sammy and Ryan are too. And goalies, I think you're all going to like it as well. So welcome Danny Reed to the group, just as we welcome Billman. And let's let it ride. Good shit coming out, guys.
So yeah, check that out. We'll have Danny Reed coming on to he's going to be. So what is his official title? I guess
Danny is a blogger. Danny's a blogger and a co-host of the show that's going to be coming out. So it's going to be pre-recorded, but if you guys like it enough, we might go live sometimes.
Right.
See how right.
Yeah,
Sammy's going to be involved in it. Ryan, if you've seen Fast and the Furious, you might get in on it just to kind of be like, that damn Vin Diesel could go fast. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
David Rivas, before we go to break, I just want to let you know it's not just soccer. It could be a real man sport like hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Or golf.
Yeah, so don't forget, guys, down there on the bottom, like, share, subscribe on Facebook. We are also on the U of Tube at 440 and Goal. Or on Instagram, 440 and Goal, at 440 and Goal. And we also, like Tom was just talking about with our website, some good stuff on there, 440andgoal.com. So let's go over to our business of the day real quick. We'll let Sammy chat about that. Let me bring that image up. Boom! There it is.
So, business of the day today is Perception Blurred. It's actually another podcast. So this is Perception Blurred. Why not podcast? And this is from David Jackson, as well as a couple of people that he rocks with. And the description of this is a newish podcast about geek and nerd culture through the eyes of a blurred black nerd and friends. Follow on this journey and have fun. And what I can say to this is, so David Jackson, Action Jackson, as most people know him, he is one of the most knowledgeable men I've ever talked to when it comes to comics. He has a very down-to-earth way of explaining these things to people. So when I have questions and stuff like that, I always go to him, even if you're not into comics per se. It's worth listening to them because they relate a lot of what's going on there into what's going on today. They're not afraid to touch on touchy subjects. I think they do a really great job. And particularly with the events that are going on right now, I think it lends a great perspective. So one of the things we try to do on this show is support local. And he's a supporter of us, and we are absolutely a supporter of him. So Perception Blurred, why not? Go to their Facebook page. They're going to show you everywhere you can get this podcast. Go give them a listen.
All right. Perception Blurred, why not? Check them out. Go from there. Let me take that off the screen. All right, guys, we're going to take like 4-minute break, somewhere right in there like we always do. And then we'll be right back down. So we'll see you guys here in a couple minutes. See you soon.
by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That the other getting old. We got Sam Ryan time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spending with Sam Ryan time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.
Hey there, guys! Welcome back.
How's it
Round
going?
2 of the show.
Hey,
Listen, I feel like the
breaking
first
news.
half of the show. Oh,
Hold on.
Breaking news.
Check that
4-4 and
out.
go.
Nice.
my God. How many Sharpies did it take to
Oh,
make
yeah.
that?
Megan made it with the cricket, man. Megan made it with her cricket that I got her for her
I feel,
anniversary.
That is
I
dope.
love that. It's nice. So the first half of the show, I kind of feel like it was a little bit down. I don't know. We just talked about a lot of depressing things other than the Indians' name change. And even then, that could be considered depressing. So I'm here to make that change. You know, like Michael Jackson. I'm here to make that change. I think I said it right.
That's the
I don't know
worst
if I
thing
did.
I've ever heard.
You can call it what you want, man. Right. So we haven't done Punter Grunt in probably like 3, maybe 4 episodes, somewhere in that ballpark area. I'm sure Tom can correct me and tell me it's been 2.5 at the minute mark somewhere too, but I don't care. But I'm going to bring up. I'll give Sammy a lot of props because he threw this together. The Punter Grunt update. I like it. I'm going to throw it up. So we haven't done Punter Grunt in probably 2-3 episodes, and I'm kind of intrigued by this. This was a last-minute thing that came up, but the first one that comes through to my mind, and I'm going to give myself credit, was Derek Anderson, was he the best quarterback since the return, punt or grunt? Wait, Sammy's looking at it like we're supposed to go to something different first. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Well, okay, then which one was it? Just tell me.
We were supposed to end on that.
Okay, so never mind. Punter Grunt, then I'm going to go to this one. Hope for the best.
There you go.
Buckeyes play more than 8 games. I didn't know. My bad. It was thrown together right at the end of it. So, Punter Grunt for you guys, the Buckeyes play more than 8 games.
Tommy Fresh, go ahead.
I'm gonna punt. I'm gonna do a fat old punt on that. Someone's gonna get sick. Someone's gonna start complaining, rightfully so, about the risks that they're taking because they're not paid. Like Sammy said, it's indentured servitude. You're being forced to go play this game, and you have the risk of catching a disease that no one has seen before, an unprecedented disease. What happens if Justin Fields goes down with this? What happens if our starting running back goes down? What happens if Trey Sermon, who transferred from Oklahoma, goes down with this? What happens if Garrett Wilson? Primetime players, man. Primetime players, and the Buckeyes got a shit ton of them. I think you play I think they'll play their out-of-conference games. I think Oregon's going to come to Ohio State. But I don't going past week 9. I think it'll be done. I don't think you see any college football playoff, nor do you see a national champion.
Sammy, you're up on deck.
I'm gonna punt for sure. I think they're going to try and start. I think they're going to start the season with every intention on playing probably a 10-game schedule, I would assume. But I think overwhelming, political pressure is going to end that. The first time, picture this as an Ohio State fan, because what they're talking about is playing that shitbag school from up north twice. And we got to go up there and Justin Fields test positive for COVID.
And then Gunnar Hoke's your starting quarterback.
Yeah, we're gonna sit down and let that. No, I think that I'll be honest with you. I don't know that they're gonna have any games, so I'm punting. There's not going to be more than 8. If they do have any games, it's definitely not going to be more than 8. I'm punting.
All right, so me, hard punt, super hard punt. I don't even think they're going to start the season off with the original schedule. I think it's going to be a hack down. I don't think Oregon's going to make their way here. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. I think it's going to be all just divisional play or whatever within the Big Ten, like 100-mile radius, 200-mile radius, whatever it is. It's going to be all local schools, and I think it's going to be a fruitless season. Let's see. What did he say? I was trying to read that. Out of the box.
Fruitless is a great word choice.
Spring. Right, thank you.
I never thought I'd say that.
Yep. It's going to be an absolute fruitless season this year for them. I think the NCAA football is just going to be on TV just to have something. But as soon as one team goes down, the whole league's going to go down until it's all taken care of. That is just what it is. There's no reason to risk it in any way, shape, or form, Sammy. Call it what you want. Had to do it. Anyways.
All
right. Uh-oh.
So, real quick, did any of you guys ever see Rocky Balboa?
Yes.
Sure. Okay. Remember when like he's retired and then that younger kid comes out and they're like, hey, well, what would have happened if Rocky Balboa would have fought this kid? And they had that computer simulation type thing with all their stats, all their like pounds per square inch for punch, all that shit, all that data accumulated. Don't you wish that they would have that right now? Because this wouldn't even be an issue for sports anymore. Hey, we can't do sports, but we have this thing that ESPN has, just like they had on Rocky Balboa, where they can play those games and simulate them in real time using computer graphics and stuff. I wish that were around right now, man.
They have that.
What's it called?
Madden.
Yeah, but Madden's so biased, man.
I
do believe Pump Boy can attest to this, but IndyCar racing is now, most of it's been done all digital, and it's counted, like legitimately counted. I don't know. I mean, obviously it's a whole different
iRacing is completely different. It's a completely different sport. But it is a sport where people get money and stuff like that. So, but it is different. That's not counting like toward, that's not counting like toward cup points or whatever the hell they do in that crazy ass sport.
What Joe Rich suggests down Bowling, Cincinnati, Akron, Kent, Mount Union, Ohio State would score 100 points a game.
Right.
100 a game. I would love it.
He's right. It's all going to be local teams.
Justin Fields will throw for 15,000 yards this year.
Yes. And then you get into the topic, how do you give that man the Heisman? How? How is that possible? But we're not going to get into that because it's going to be a train wreck. I just know that. I know it will be. But he's right. Rich, I'm going with you on this, man. Coach, you're right. They're going to play all these teams within Ohio, and it's going to be terrible. It's going to be absolutely terrible. They're not even going to get a team from outside. And God forbid, I don't even know if Ohio State plays a California team this year because that's done. Not a chance. All right. Second punter grunt. Oh, let me get this off here. Sorry, Tom. Second punter grunt is Browns restructure contract for Vernon for Garrett. Punt or grunt? It's up to you guys. Go.
Go ahead.
I'm punting on that. I think it's a good idea. I can see where that might come across somebody's mind, but I think it has more to do with his output, more to do with the fact that they're going to want to sign somebody else to help that defense. And the money for Garrett, I believe it's next year is when they redo the contract. So I'm punting on that.
I'll go real quick. I'm punting hard. I don't think it's for Garrett. I honestly think it's for Clowney. I do believe. So, and I can't even really say that. Because what I'm going to say, they restructured the contract down to, I think it was like 11.4 million from 14 million. So it was a cap savings, but nothing dramatic. But I think they're hoping to get Clowney at a super discounted rate because it's going to be last minute. But other than that, it's a punt for me. I'm surprised Vernon is actually still here, to be honest with you. But the reason why he is because no one wants to pick up that contract for a mediocre player. He's being paid like a stud. But that's just my opinion. So punt for me.
All right. So I'm going to say it's a grunt for me.
Ooh.
I think that what they're doing is they're saving money so they can start allocating funds for Myles Garrett and reallocate funds because it doesn't just take that it doesn't just take it down to 11.4 million. It takes it down to a guaranteed salary of 3.5 million. Okay, the rest are like incentives and stuff like that. So I think what they're doing, honestly, because who knows what Jadeveon wants at this point? Okay, who knows what
money?
Well, he wants money, but if he wanted money, he would have came here. So the thing is no one knows truly, in addition to money, what he wants because he balked at a 1-year, $15 million deal from Seattle. I think you are restructuring it for Myles Garrett, but at the same time, you're doing it so that they can fulfill Ryan Cole's wet dream of getting Clay Matthews and essentially doing it for free.
They're love
essentially
it. I love
making room to get, or we're talking about David Njoku later, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to save my other point on it because I have another idea. I'm going to save my other part of the punt or of the grunt for something else too. All right. So when we get into David Njoku, you'll understand what I'm talking about.
And I'll totally agree with you, Tom, because I didn't even think about that, to be quite honest with you.
They'll get him for free.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they restructured a contract that already had worked in. Bring in, I mean, that frees up 14 down to 3 million guaranteed. Obviously, the incentives base, but right now on paper, there's 11 million to mess with. You know, and Matthews is willing to play. He just wants to play. That's really what it comes down to. Everything I've read about, you know, he's not looking for a long-term deal. He's just looking for a short-term deal with some money with it. Bring him in. Why not? Because we already have the issues with the linebacking core. Already have it. There's no guarantees there. No,
I've warmed up to it, and you guys.
How can you not? Yeah, I mean, if you read Clay Matthews' stats and everything with St. Louis, or I'm sorry with Los Angeles, he had good stats last year, man. He really did.
It wasn't
he genuinely did. Yep, better than anyone that's on the team. No reason not to bring him in, even if it's on a veteran minimum, if you can get him for that. You know, put some incentives with it. So, but this one, so the original one we started out with, and Sammy's probably all irritated and, you know, whatever, and I don't care, but punter grunt, Derek Anderson was the best QB since the return. I'm going last because I think I'm going to drop a bomb on you guys.
All right, go ahead.
That's tough. I think I have to grunt on that, which seems weird because Derek Anderson sucks, but he might, you know, that 2-year window, he was good. He was good for us, and we haven't had that level of quarterback play consistently for a year since, or even before him. He was definitely better than Couch. So yeah, I think I have to grunt.
I am going to grunt. Derek Anderson is the second best. The best quarterback since the return.
So then you're punting.
Punt. Sorry. I'm going to punt. The best quarterback since the return is Brian Hoyer. Brian Hoyer had a 7-to-1 touchdown interception ratio at one point when he led the Browns to a 9-3 or a 7-3 record. in Cleveland. If anyone that season, there were two types of people in the world that season: people who thought that the Cleveland Browns would be in first place in their division at that point in the season, and goddamn liars. Brian Hoyer was unabashedly a Pro Bowl level quarterback that season before the team started tanking and taking a shit. The team imploded around him. Brian Hoyer is the answer. Hoyer was great. I wish we would have kept him and not put in the heroin addict Johnny Manziel.
Okay, so here's the deal. So I technically have to grunt with this because I do believe Derek Anderson on paper was the best quarterback Cleveland has had. Even past it with Tim Couch was good, but Derek Anderson put up numbers.
What year are you talking about a 7-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio?
The year he threw 7 touchdowns and 1 interception, probably.
So in 2013, he threw 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And in 2014, which is the year he played the most, threw for 3,000 yards, but threw 12 touchdowns and 13 picks.
In 2014, it was through the first 6 weeks of the season. He had a 7-to-1 touchdown interception ratio.
Okay, well, he ended the year at 12 and 13. That's pretty freaking terrible.
Well, the team started to blow ass around him, so he was still
anyway,
the best.
Right.
Hey, listen, make that point. All right. Oh.
In 2014, though, he threw for almost 3,500 yards and had almost a winning record. I mean, he had no weapon. No weapon.
So listen.
Derek Anderson had Kellen Winslow and Braylon.
Right. I'm going to have to grunt that Derek was the best quarterback since the return. On paper, it was, I think, our only playoff run that we had. Yeah, I seen that one too. Got us to I think we talked about this before, but a 10-6 winning season, and we got knocked out. I think we didn't even get to the wild card because of the 7-9 Seahawks that year. Correct. But so I'm grunting that he was the best quarterback, but I'm also kind of punning because I think if he wouldn't have had the issues he had, still to this day, Johnny Manziel would have been the best quarterback.
Nope.
Johnny Manziel all day long would have been the best quarterback. If he didn't have the issues that he had so much potential, and I'm going with it. I love Manny when he came in, and it sucks with everything that happened. But I think he would have been the best. But I think the next best, I honestly think, oh man, Baker Mayfield. I'm telling you. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's ready to rock. I think this year is going to be different than any other year we've seen in the past 2 decades.
Johnny Manziel looks like the kid with no neck from ABC's show The Middle, and he played like him too. Anyway,
no, did not.
Hey,
did not.
Hey, right. Remember Steve Marison? Brick is Steve Marison's twin. Brick is Steve's twin.
I don't know who
we
Brick
have a buddy
is.
we used to work with. Look him up. Brick the Middle. Look him up. Oh my God.
But I'm just saying that's But we do. So moving into the next topic, this is when we bring in our special guest analyst. And let's throw him in here, Mr. Nikolai Billman, coming in hot.
Hey,
how's it going, guys?
Pretty good.
Thanks for joining the show with us.
Resident football specialist.
What's up? Oh, I'm also rocking the Baker jersey.
Yep. So let's just start there real quick before we get into what we're going to get into. Do you think Baker is going to have a breakout year?
I wouldn't say breakout, but I'd have a bounce back year. I mean,
what is your minimum for him this year? What is your minimum, like, touchdown interception ratio or yardage? Do you have a win record? Like, what is your minimum before you are going to get to the point where, like, okay, beat it? In comes Case Keenum.
See, that's like midway through the season, so I have to see how it goes. But if his interceptions are more than his touchdowns midway through the season,
then that's where you're.
Yeah. Okay. So, I think the bye week's right in the middle of the season, so by the bye week, he's struggling that bad. You pull the cord, and bring in Case.
So you're going to go
I
by
was
his
saying-
stats, not the wins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say most of us on the show have actually said 5 weeks. At least I know that's what I've said. He's got 5 weeks. It's a take it or leave it. It is what it is. Case Keenum's on deck waiting to come in. That's my opinion.
But now, when's 5 weeks going to be? Especially if COVID changes everything.
Right.
Who knows what it's gonna
Assuming
be now.
assuming a natural season, nothing's changed.
Yeah, I understand where
irregardless
you're
of
coming
fans. You know what I mean? Yeah, I give it 5 weeks. He's in or out, but I genuinely believe he's going to have the season bounce back. I do like that phrasing better than a breakout, but I think it's coming.
I also think they're not going to rely on him as much as they did last year. I think they rely on Chubb, Hunt.
Yes,
he'll be throwing to the tight ends a lot, which I'm sure we're going to get into here in a minute.
That's actually our first topic.
Let's be honest.
I'll just dive right on in. So, yeah, Njoku demands a trade. Is anyone actually even surprised, to be honest with you?
No. I'm only surprised because the audacity of him to ask for a trade. Like, he is terrible. He has been terrible. He has been all hype and absolutely no production. So for him to demand a trade because we brought in Hooper, are you kidding me?
I agree. I agree full-heartedly.
As soon as I saw that he changed his agent to Drew Rosenhaus, it's like, of course he's going to demand a trade. Every client that Drew Rosenhaus has demands a trade right away.
Is he not the most poisonous agent in the NFL? Like, it is. I can't remember the last guy who we had that had Drew Rosenhaus, but I remember when he signed with him. I'm like, well, there that goes. There that goes, because that guy's a
Terrell Pryor.
It was TP.
Terrell Pryor.
You are correct. That was it.
I was
TP,
sad.
by the way, one of the
Terrell,
biggest waste of talent. We screwed the pooch on that because I think he could have been a stud.
Well, he got mixed up in a coaching change, didn't he? Like, I mean, he had to have. I mean, it's been about every 2 years for the past 20 years. A new head coach has been in Cleveland.
Yeah, it was a little right before
Hugh
Jackson started.
I would say not to change the subject, but who is the longest tenured head coach of the Cleveland Browns after 1999? Does anyone know that?
Chris Palmer.
I think it's Cornell.
Is it Cornell?
It's either Cornell or
it might be Butch.
No.
Let's see.
Butch had. I think it's Cornell.
Okay.
Schottenheimer. He lasted a long time.
Yeah, that was back in the.
Butch Davis had 3 years. Let's see. Cornell had 3 years.
How long was Palmer there?
God, 1
Palmer
year.
was only there for 1 or 2, I think, and then Butch took
99
over.
to 2000. Yeah.
And then Butch Davis was there for 2.
And Hugh Jackson's the second longest tenured, man. Hugh and so the longest tenured is definitely Cornell. Hugh.
No. Hugh was only 2 years. He was 16 to 18, and then Butch Davis was 01 to 04, so 3 years. And then Cornell was 05 to 08, 3 years. So, golly, man, does that look so terrible on paper? Holy
doesn't
shit.
it suck when you read that?
God, it's terrible. You know, one coach I thought would have did well in his tenure, in my opinion, they didn't give him enough time, was Mangini.
No, he sucks too.
Yeah,
I thought
whatever. But yeah,
around a while.
So the Njoku demands a trade. Like I said, is anyone even surprised? I'm not. I mean, they were talking. Trade talks have been on the rumor mill for probably 2-3 months now.
At least.
I mean, they've been talking about axing him once they picked up Hooper.
I mean, that was for most people thinking, as soon as we signed Hooper and then we drafted the best college tight end,
Harrison Bryant,
that they'd probably get rid of Njoku, which watching him play last year, I could care less.
Well, he got absolutely annihilated in week 4. I mean, don't get me wrong, he went up for a big catch.
He got hurt week 2 against the Jets, and then he was out.
Yeah, but he got blown. I mean, it was undercut like no one's business.
Yeah, and he broke his
wrist.
He
can't catch. He can't catch. His one job His only job is to catch the damn ball. We didn't draft him to block. He's not even a good blocker. He misses wide open passes on a regular basis. Now, we all dealt with that because he's a physical specimen. Like, he literally looks like you chiseled him out of marble. I remember talking to you, Nick, about it when we drafted him because we got him from the U. I'm like, all right, well,
he's young.
He's
raw,
young, but he's
physical specimen.
Athlete. Miami always takes athletes, but I didn't realize that we were drafting Hot Hands Hanen.
Yeah, like I said, he's raw, very young. He's still, I think, 24 now. I mean, he's really young for being in the league.
Oh my God, there is a name.
Greg Little, number 18.
Greg Little's hands were so good that they tried to make him a running back again.
Oh, I remember that. Cincinnati.
You remember
he signed
that?
with Cincinnati, and they tried to make him a
running back again. Boy, that is the ultimate. That is the ultimate. And I liked Greg Little. God, our receiving court sucked with them. Who was opposite? It was Greg Little and
Muhammad Massaquoi.
Massaquoi. And
listen,
then
Muhammad
Trubisky
Massaquoi took the hardest hit I think I've ever seen in a live game. I thought, first of all,
yeah, he did.
That it looked like a assault and battery. That was ridiculous. And was that perfect?
No, that was James Harrison.
Oh, no, that was Harrison. You're right. That was against the Steelers. That was James juiced up Harrison.
You know that Muhammad Massaquoi has a fake hand now?
No.
What?
Like Chubbs?
He legit has a fake hand. But not even like Chubbs. It's like a robotic hand, bro. Like legit. It's like all side, like robotic, like wired into his brain.
Is he the one who got in the car accident?
Oh yeah.
It's an ATV accident.
Yeah.
No hand. God, I'd like to have him on the field catching balls.
And he can still catch better than David Njoku.
Hell yeah.
I bet you Jason Pierre-Paul catches better than Njoku.
Oh. I'm gonna swallow my dip.
You didn't. Come on, man. just kicking a man while he's down. Comment. Good God Almighty!
Listen, guys. In the name of July 4th.
In the name of July 4th, baby.
Give it 3.
Have you ever seen the pictures of that?
Oh, it's terrible.
Brutal.
But so my question is going to be though, and Joe, I mean, obviously, so the Browns are not going to be as touted as what they were last year, obviously, because all the hype. That was after you watch the Titans come out and just mop the floor with the Browns, but still to this day, we still on paper have probably the best offense in the league. On paper, we do. Why would he want to trade though? I mean, why wouldn't you want to be part of that? That is really what the question is. I know you got Austin Hooper on one hand, Harrison Bryant. Am I saying that right? Harrison Bryant?
Yeah.
And then Farrell Brown, but he can't play. He's not in my opinion, he was not a 3-down tight end. No. He's more of a specialized tight end. It's going to be, because they're going to bump him out, put him into a wide receiver-esque position. He's not there to block. He's there to catch. Why would you not want to be part of that? It's really my question.
Because he's got, so here's what he's got. He's pissed off because now he's what, the 5th option, I think is safe to say? Because you're going to have
farther down than that.
OBJ, Jarvis, Hooper, Kareem Hunt, Chubb,
Hollywood Higgins,
maybe even Higgins.
Right.
Yeah.
But in the same, well, Higgins is we should have a whole topic on Higgins. But in the same respect, Kevin Stefanski's offense relies strongly on tight ends and running backs, correct?
Yes. They told him when he demanded trade. When he demanded the trade, now this is per 92.3 The Fan. This is me listening to Adam the Bull and Dustin Fox. They told him when he demanded the trade, like, listen, we run tons of double tights. That's why we got Hooper. We want both of you guys on the field. That way, you're going to be open. Somebody's going to catch the ball. I think what he saw is the fact that he is going to be in a potent offense, and he doesn't have the goods to produce there. And he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to. He is afraid of being the reason we lose. That's why he wants out of here, because he knows he's not good enough right now.
But he also made the mistake that he has zero leverage right now. They just picked up his fifth-year contract for next year. He's on his rookie deal. They don't need to get rid of him. He can sit out. It's not going to cost the Browns that much money if he decides to sit out.
No, and he's just going to kill himself by doing it.
Yeah. So it's just going to hurt him. So he's not Le'Veon Bell that could sit out a year and then get signed by the Jets.
So obviously, I'm just saying, obviously.
I think Terrell Pryor's antics screwed him in the end too, because he was asking for so much more money. And like, I think he forgot, like, you're a dude that switched positions. Like, people still have hold on you.
Well, Pryor came out and said that he wished he would have never left Cleveland.
And I think that goes back to Drew Rosenhaus.
Yep.
And he was pushing that Terrell could make this more money elsewhere when I don't think Terrell really wanted to leave.
Thanks, Drew.
And he ended up signing but he ended up signing a 1-year deal with Washington, didn't he? For like
because that's all he could
$2
get.
million.
And got cut.
Yeah,
right. And then they cut him not even halfway through the season. They were a training camp.
Which, by the way, that organization, way bigger dumpster fire than us. It's not even close.
Way bigger. We got a dumpster fire on our hand. But so now the real question's going to be is, so Njoku demands a trade. Obviously, it's kind of worked out in the Browns' favor in a way that he not that he sucked, but that he got injured last year because no one was really to be able to evaluate his full-fledged talent. Who does the Browns, because eventually, obviously, if someone doesn't want to be there, they're going to get rid of him. Who do the Browns trade for?
Listen,
go
ahead, Tom. I think we're on the same path.
All right, so I was talking about this with Olivier Vernon. I think restructuring the deal allows you to package Vernon and David Njoku and a draft pick and trade for an unhappy player somewhere else. And that guy's name is Yannick Ngakoue from the Jacksonville Jaguars, who fills a huge need, is more productive than Jadeveon Clowney, and is a stud fit on our defense. Jacksonville runs 2 tight end sets. He'd be back near the U. You get rid of Olivier's contract, and guess what? Yannick Ngakoue is playing for the franchise tender right now. $17 million, I think he signed for, if I'm right. Right, Nick? About 17?
Something along those lines.
So here's the thing. You restructure that deal. You sign Garrett to the mega contract. You trade for Yannick Ngakoue. Then that hard cap and soft cap money comes into play. And you can lock up Yannick Ngakoue and have a scary defensive line for the next 9 to 10 years. 9 to 10 years we're talking. We ain't playing chess. We're playing checkers right now if we get Yannick Ngakoue.
Opposite of what you said. But I see what you're talking about.
All right.
You meant to say,
this ain't chess, this is checkers.
Hey, you're right. You're right, because to be honest with you, a defensive tackle, he is most of the time a defensive tackle, other than Ndamukong Suh in that era. Most defensive tackles they're there to plug the hole. That's it. Their goal is not to get sacks. Their goal is not to get anything but not to run.
Not in Ndamukong Suh. Yannick
Ngakoue. No. I'm saying, as in reference, if you have 2 edge rushers that can be as dominant as what the projection is, the 2 defensive tackles, because they're running a 4-3, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're not going to run. They're running a 4-3 defense, right? So even if you have to shuffle defensive tackles throughout the next 5-10 years, you still have those 2 edge rushers that are going to be dominant no matter which way you look at it. So I like that.
Yes.
So I'm kind of on. I'm not for the guy from Jacksonville, but I do think you can push him toward another unhappy player in New York, and
I've seen
package him for Jamal Adams, and take care of a much bigger hole than on the defensive line. Our defensive line, I feel like we're stout enough to be a contender, but God, do we need help at safety? So Jamal Adams wants out of New York. New York has a young quarterback that needs a big target. Drew Rosenhaus knows that New York is going to give him a shit ton of money if he goes there and produces. So you can really, really put that together that way. Package up Njoku, a couple picks. You could, put together whatever you need to, send them that way, bring Jamal Adams over here. Then our defense is stout at that point.
Very true.
So
Yeah,
I'm gonna. Go
I was
ahead.
just
Nick.
gonna say, yeah. Well, I've seen a couple of trade scenarios already. One was an Ndakwe trade that Tom mentioned. I think it was Njoku, a 3rd round pick for Ndakwe. And then I've also seen Njoku and probably like a 2nd or a 2nd and a 4th or something like that for Jamal Adams. But realistically, we'll probably trade him to like the Vegas Raiders for a 4th or 5th round pick. Let's be honest. That's how it goes.
Well,
I would love to have Jamal Adams or Ndakwe, but I just don't see it happening.
Here is why time for Barry to show his chops.
Mm-hmm.
Barry, you're on the clock. Now you've got a shot here. Because I'll tell you right now, you know who would have went out and got Jamal Adams or the dude from Jacksonville? I don't say his name because I always mess it up.
Johnny Dorsey.
You ain't a shitting, brother. Njoku wouldn't have even finished the sentence trade and would have been on his way out of Cleveland.
I will say,
so why doesn't Cleveland package something together for a linebacker just to solidify it?
I don't know many linebackers available.
Right, but there might not be. But I mean, it's just assumption. Everyone's on the trade block. Anyone can get traded pretty much at any time unless you have a no trade clause.
How much are you willing to give up? Are you? What do you want to give up, a 1st rounder for a linebacker?
Yeah. So is Cleveland in the win now mode?
They are.
The only linebacker I would ever trade. I'm sorry, Nick. I'm just throwing this out there super quick. The only linebacker I would ever trade for, it would be Njoku, a 1st rounder, a 3rd rounder, and anything they effing want. Bobby Wagner. No. He is the only linebacker I would trade for. Anything you want outside of OBJ, Chubb, and Baker, you can friggin' have them. I want Bobby Wagner.
I mean,
I'm not even saying
it doesn't even have to be a stud linebacker. It just needs to be a complimentary linebacker at this point in time to help with the new guys that are on the team. We need somebody there that can stop the run when we need it. Von Miller's a stretch, brother. That is. I mean, don't get me wrong. Somehow
not that
it's not as big of a stretch as it used to be.
I mean, but the grace of God that we can trade Njoku and say a 3rd round pick for Von Miller, I still think it's a stretch because I don't think. I mean, Njoku hasn't proven anything, which is working for the opposing the trade bait team versus the Browns.
The selling point. The pick is the selling point.
But I think
that's what you're getting rid of. And Von Miller is aging and wants the hell out of Denver. So
and had COVID.
Ooh, what a great point by Mike Malaragno.
Well, I was going to bring
never give it
my
up.
Point.
Do it, Nick.
I think it's more likely that you will get a trade for another player now more than a draft pick because of COVID and not knowing what college is going to be this year. That will turn around and affect the draft.
Yeah.
So we may be more realistically to see more player for player trades than player for draft picks because of this. I've been thinking about
very true. That's very true.
So
astute point.
So Andrew Berry should be making his money now if he's going to get a player.
Listen, I've got high hopes for him only because we had a mover, man. Dorsey, in the words of Joe Exotic, we will never financially recover from this. I'm so pissed off that they got rid of Dorsey. Dorsey did his job, and I know the line sucks.
I was going to say, Sam.
I know the line sucks. We could have fixed that, but nobody made big moves like Dorsey. Dorsey took shots on people.
Would we have OBJ right now if it wasn't for Dorsey?
Nope.
I love that, man. I love John Dorsey.
Would we have OBJ right now if it wasn't for the Giants' dumb GM?
Would we have Kareem
No.
Hunt?
Well, you were right
Kareem-
there.
I think he would
because,
have Kareem because he. I think
Gettleman
the
was
whole
a
being in,
full-blown
from Willoughby.
I don't. I think.
I don't know if
he
he'd
was
still be
his
on the
last
team,
shot.
but from last year we may have had him.
Gettleman was a turd. I mean,
Gettleman
lightly spoken.
might be the worst in history.
Yeah.
Gettleman might be next to
Isn't he still the
Brown.
GM there too?
Yeah.
Like legitimately, isn't he? Like he is
terrible.
the head honcho out there. Yeah, just terrible.
They hate
Right.
him more than James Dolan.
Yeah,
Right.
they
I
hate
get
him.
Yep. Since we got Billman on here, we got two more topics to cover. We're actually running. I'm really surprised. I thought we'd be short, but I want to talk about it because it's headline news across the board. Patty got paid 10 years, $503 million. Big. I mean, so the only time you ever see like 10-year deals is what, the MLB, right?
No, you've seen
No.
it in NFL. You've seen it. Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick, Steve Young from the USAFL got a 43-year deal that he never fulfilled, obviously, but that happened.
Brett
Yeah,
Steve
Favre
Young, look it up.
got a lifetime
Brett Favre.
contract with the Packers.
Yeah, the Steve Young USFL.
Drew Bledsoe.
That one doesn't really count.
Drew Bledsoe.
Drew Bledsoe got a 10-year deal with the Pats. That's
And got
Donovan
traded
McNabb.
4 months into it.
Yep, Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick,
Twice.
and the lifetime deal for Brett Favre is still super weird. That's one of the weirdest contracts in the NFL of all time. But lucrative wise, Pat Mahomes. And how smart is it? Although it could be dumb, because they said that there could be a problem with the cap, I think, next year. He's not getting paid a steady, like a set amount of money. It's $503 million plus, because this dude is getting a percentage of their cap no matter what. So if that cap goes through the roof, this could turn into a $550 million contract.
Right.
Yeah, his cap hit this year is only $5 million. This coming season, $5 million.
boy.
That's ridiculous.
But if you look at look at it. I mean, Patty Mahomes, 24 years old.
And he's amazing.
I mean,
he's amazing.
he's amazing at what he does. I mean, is there a better quarterback in the NFL right now? If you had to pick one quarterback to lead your franchise and you could pick any of the 32 starters in the NFL,
By age and talent, no. You'd have to pick Mahomes.
There's only one person that you could even bring up against him.
I know who you're going to say.
And he hasn't won yet. So like Lamar Jackson is amazing. And trust me, mark this shit down right here. If Lamar Jackson brings Baltimore to a Super Bowl, they might pay him $600 million, because this is the same team that gave.
Oh, they will. And that might. Look what they paid
gave Joe Flacco. They gave Joe Flacco $60 million.
God. Jesus H.
for like
Christ.
4 years.
Yeah,
like
and they
4
were,
years.
I mean, he was average. So Lamar Jackson, Baltimore will pay him. And the only other quarterback that could get paid more than Pat Mahomes in the NFL is Baker Mayfield. If Baker Mayfield won in Cleveland, if he won, like if somehow he changed and this year he is everything he wasn't last year. If he came out this year and decided that he is going to be the guy everybody wants and passing for touchdowns, getting us wins, bringing us to the playoffs, AFC championship games or something like that, they'll give him a Brett Favre lifetime contract for sure.
I'm going to throw something out there right now, just going off of what has happened, evolution with money. Trevor Lawrence gets drafted and let's assume he does very well. And he goes to the Las Vegas Raiders. Okay. In 3 years, the Las Vegas Raiders win 2 Super Bowls with Trevor Lawrence. I will guarantee the Davises give Trevor Lawrence a $1 billion contract. I'm not even joking. I could definitely see it. Mahomes set the market. Trevor Lawrence in Vegas wins 2 Super Bowls in 2 years, and sets like touchdown records and throws for like 6,000 yards. Trevor Lawrence is getting $1 billion contract. I can see it.
It'll happen in our lifetimes.
Oh, we're gonna see
it will.
$1 billion quarterback.
No, I didn't think $500 million contract for football would ever happen in my lifetime.
I didn't think
5 years ago, 10 years ago.
$100 million quarterback. I remember at that time. I remember 10 years ago, thinking $100 million quarterback is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of.
Now you got Kirk Cousins getting $80 million guaranteed.
Which, listen,
Literally.
I have to go back off, and I'm going to have to admit being wrong on something. I looked at Kirk Cousins.
Oh, shit.
I looked at Kirk Cousins' stats. He is not as bad as I thought he was. He's not great.
Now put Baker Mayfield in that offense because that's what the Browns are going to be this year.
I'll tell you what, though, in the NFL, it's not – you could have one great year and they love you. But what owners and coaches love is consistency. You can consistently go out there and throw for 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns. You don't have to be Lamar Jackson and Patty Mahomes, but drop it down a notch and manage the game well, win the games that need to be won, you'll get paid.
Players love consistency too. I mean, Patty Mahomes has Andy Reid. Lamar Jackson has John Harbaugh. Baker Mayfield had Kevin Stefanski, Freddie Kitchens. What's his name? That's the
Greg Williams.
Greg Williams.
Greg Williams.
And he's had 4 head coaches.
Yeah, you're right. In 4 years.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. What does that do to the rest of the team, though? That's where the problem lies.
Right.
What if you're paying your quarterback 10 or 15% of your cap? What the hell who can you offer what?
Hopes and dreams. You can offer them hopes and dreams and a Coca-Cola from McDonald's.
That's 100%. I'm talking about Cousins. I have hated him since college. Absolutely hated him. But I had to
let's spin this back.
Huh?
Let's spin this back real quick. Dak Prescott wants paid. Jerry Jones, the most egregious owner in sports. Let's say Dak wins 2 championships, one this year, one next year. What does Dak get? I don't think it's unheard of that he would get a $750 million contract. Because in Jerry's world,
sometimes you say shit just because I think you want the headline, but damn it, I think you're onto something. Only because
I know I'm onto something.
Jerry Jones is
the only part I find unrealistic is them winning championships in the next 2 years.
I honestly, I don't think that's that unrealistic either. I think they have as good a shot as any other team. But Jerry Jones will just throw. Jerry Jones might sell him part of Dallas. Like he might get part of Dallas as like the whole city. You're right. Jerry Jones will throw money probably. Is there any other owner right now that's going to throw money like that?
Jimmy Haslam?
No.
Shad Khan would if he had anyone worth his game.
If Jimmy Haslam, if Baker, like you said, if Baker balled out, MVP, take us to the AFC Championship game,
they'd give him.
Jimmy Haslam would give out any dollar. Yeah,
the entire house gone.
They would change First Energy Stadium to the house that Baker built.
Yep.
And I would be all there for it. Yep. And Odell Beckham sitting on the right side of the throne, baby.
Listen, all 4 of us could sit right next to each other with the IV bags from the amount of drinking that would happen on that night. There is a running joke at work right now that if the Browns ever win the Super Bowl, I'm using my entire year of PTO that month.
Right. Just yes. It's true though. It's true. If the Browns won the Super Bowl, what would you do? Legit. I mean, I'd be blown out drunk for weeks on end.
Do you know what to do? Lamar song? Pull up, drink. Wake up, drink.
I'm going to tell you what I do. I drive down to Bath, Ohio. I go to Odell Beckham's house, knock on that door, and when he answers, I just rip my clothes off and say, "Take me." And that's it.
I don't think you'd get that far, but
I'd find a way, Nick. I'd find a way. I can sell a car. I can get in
his way up there. So here, you know what? Since we have an addition to the panel tonight, here's a great question. So obviously, the Browns have a running track record of not keeping coaches for long at all, right? How long does Stefanski last? Is he? What? Stefanski's what? 35, 36?
He's a young guy.
Right. So did Haslam actually hire a young guy to run the track as long as they can, or is he gone in 2 years from now?
I don't think so.
I think you can say
here's what it takes.
Go down the road of it depends on the win-loss record.
Yeah.
So let's go. Hold on, wait. Let's go this route. 3 years from now, year one, the Browns go 6-10. Is Stefanski still there?
Yes. There's no way to fire a coach in 1 year.
Year two, we knock on the door. We're not knock on the door. I'm sorry. We're 8-8.
He's still coach.
Yeah. He's still
okay.
coaching.
Year 3, we go 9-7. Just a little bit of progression, nothing crazy.
He's not going anywhere.
So if we go 9-7, Stefanski gets a statue outside of First Energy Stadium.
I wouldn't go that far, but I will say that we accept 9-7. We would accept that.
When Urban Meyer wants to take the wheel, that's like saying Jesus take the wheel, man. Because if that son of a bitch ever comes to Cleveland, I'm out.
He's a college coach. He's never doing NFL.
College coach.
I think he had a chance.
He is the same coach that thought he could take DeMario McCall and Curtis Samuel and use them as Percy Harvin circa 2011 when defenses changed. Urban Meyer was a good name. He was a good coach, but that son of a bitch did not adapt to the times, man.
Curtis
So I guess maybe
I'm just saying.
All right, it's kind of a
your stoicism worries me.
3 years, okay. Is Stefanski 3 years and done?
No,
or 5 years plus.
Barring an absolute meltdown of Hugh Jackson proportions, he's not going anywhere.
I mean, Hugh Jackson was horrible and went 2.5 years.
Yep. So if he wins, Stefanski can win 6 games a year for 3 years, and he's not in the hot seat until the 4th.
Guaranteed.
I agree.
Now, here's why. If they win 6 games this year, Baker Mayfield is out. That's how that's going. They win
Trevor
6
Lawrence
games, they'll draft somebody, or because they're win now, we could be looking at a quarterback that's on the move, i.e., somebody like a Cam Newton who signed a 1-year deal in New England.
Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston.
Oh,
there will be.
I'm not saying I want it. I could just see it.
No, like that's
for sure.
They're going to want a guy. Look, we have a Lamborghini. This offense is a Lamborghini. We need a quarterback that knows how to drive a stick shift.
Yep. Yeah, we do. Yeah. I'll tell you who would be good. Phillip Rivers. That son of a bitch will bring his 9
years old.
No, it doesn't matter. I was just going to say it, Tom. He can. Yep. He can sling that ball.
Put a pin in it because we'll see what he does in Indianapolis this year.
Listen, Brett Favre might come back next year. What happens then?
Aaron Rodgers might be available.
I would shit my pants.
You know what? That would be so Cleveland. That would be so Cleveland. We would sign somebody with 13 seconds left in their NFL career with this beautiful
AKA Jeff Garcia.
AKA what Tampa Bay just did?
Yep. Tampa Bay did.
And Tampa Bay's not even set to win yet, which is what blows my mind about that.
They don't have a running back. They have no running. They have Peyton Barber.
You don't trust Ronald Jones?
I haven't trusted Ronald Jones since he got me 0.02 points in fantasy football.
I won't even play Ronald Jones as a game.
Oh, Lord. All right. Last topic of the night. Let's get into it real quick because we're all Beulah boys. top 3 businesses you miss that were in Ashtabula. It's been an interesting topic. We talked about it. I'm gonna Tom, I'm gonna let you go first.
All right. So number 3, my third most missed business in Ashtabula is Champ Sports. That's where I got my first pair of T-Max. Fell in love ever since. I spent an ungodly amount of money in that store. Number 2, Caruso's. I went to Caruso's every Saturday from age 8 until 18. I would come home on weekends from college to go to church and then Caruso's with my mother and father. And I got the veal parmesan every Saturday from age 8 until 18. It was that damn good. And it was only Gordon Food Service, but damn it, Leo made it good. And number 1, my most missed business in Ashtabula, Walden Books. Walden Books in the mall. I would go in there and I would literally drop a Ben Franklin on all that shit that was in there. I would just go hog wild in that store. I was reading shit by like John Milton when I was in like 11th grade just because I thought the book cover looked cool. And damn it, it was awesome. John Milton was a poet, if you didn't know.
Not a poet if you didn't know it. Anyways, so mine, I'm going to go real quick. I'm going to agree with Tom. Champs was my number 3. I love Champs Sporting Goods. I remember going there and buying. Didn't they have like the 2 for $80 or something deal? When
Nope.
like
and
2
you could
for
get the
$79?
Birdman lugs.
It was
2 for $80 and you could get the Birdman
60.
lugs.
2
Oh,
for
yeah,
60. Even better.
Yeah.
The 2 for 60, 2 pairs of shoes, $60. You're out looking decent for the day.
And they had the longest T-shirts in the country.
Yeah, they did.
Yes,
Mark Cumberland loved that store.
Now that you say that, my number 2, and it was kind of a recent closure, and I never got to go there because my wife didn't like it that much. But I loved El Puente. That was one of my favorite Mexican restaurants in Ashtabula. I don't know.
Store version's in the Ashtabula Mall now. Just go to the Ashtabula Mall. The dollar store version is there.
It's not the same thing. I liked El Puente. My number 1, I used to love going to Cardoli's as a kid.
It's still
when I went to Cardoli. No, I'm sorry, not Cardoli. Shit, Garfield. Garfield.
Oh, Garfield was great.
Garfield
was delicious.
Garfield. Hey, listen, the only problem I had with it, and I never understood this, and they still do, or they stopped doing it at this time, but to get to the non-smoking section, you had to walk through the damn smoking section to get to the non-smoking section.
Oh, it was a better time.
Never made any sense to me. Never made any sense.
Caruso's did it too. Right. Caruso's did it.
Have a little bit of cancer on your way to eating your.
First of all, the smoking section and the non-smoking section were just 2 different parts of the dining room. There was no like barricade.
In yes, there was.
Like Ruby Tuesdays and Perkins. Like I remember at one time, Perkins, when you walked in there, looked like a cloud of smoke when all the old ladies were back there smoking Virginia Slims and talking about how shitty the neighborhoods are now.
Oh yeah, man! In Caruso's, you would walk through, and I'd be eating my salad, and I could taste the cools on my romaine lettuce.
But at Garfield's, you'd walk in, you hang a quick left. Right there, that little dining area was a smoking section. Then you make a right and go straight down through, and they had a doorway where you had to walk through. They'd open and close it to go to the non-smoking. I just never understood why you'd have to walk through a damn smoking section to get to the non-smoking. Makes no sense.
As you had a dip in.
Because the 90s.
As you had a dip in.
No, I actually listen, I'm gonna tell you guys a little story. I worked at Garfield's as a kid. Sammy knows this story. But so one day I was 17 years old and I decided I wanted beer. Obviously I couldn't buy it. Yeah, Sammy just remembered the story. So I decided my big ass was going to run out of the back of Garfield's at the end of my shift with a 6er. I don't know what it was at this point. I don't know, Bud Light, probably Coors Light, whatever it was. Well, they had cameras, and I didn't know it. The next day, I got shit canned. But I'll tell you what, the owner at that time was cool as hell because he let me pay back the cost of the beer, and he gave me my job back. because I told him I don't know, I didn't know any other way to buy it, is what I told him. And my mom, I remember having to tell my mother, she goes, "Why aren't you going to work today?" And I said, "Well, they closed." And immediately there was a car ride taken to Garfield's to see if they were closed. And they weren't. Yeah.
He said no bologna, and you got cotton bologna.
Oh, yeah. But the kicker of the story is 2 weeks later, those people there did close the damn store. I showed up, and they had a sign on the door that said closed until further notice. I didn't even get a phone call. I just came to work, and they're closed. I'm done. Anyways.
Nick, how about you?
All right. So most of mine are going to be from my childhood. So no particular order. Sam Goody.
Oh, my God.
Loved Sam Goody. I don't know how many CD singles I bought from Sam Goody back in the day. The toy store that was where Dunham's is.
KB
Toy Warehouse.
It wasn't KB Toys. It was Family Toy Warehouse.
Oh, okay.
My buddy Tim Berg's mom was the manager there, and I would get Power Rangers shit
all the time.
I would get Power Rangers shit for crazy good deals, man. Oh my God.
Number one, because of where I lived, my mom would send me and my brother to Ponderosa just to get some chicken wings, mashed potatoes, everything. Best
Ponderosa's the winner. Ponderosa's the ultimate winner here.
Like, Sam, you shouldn't even talk. Ponderosa, my God. Holy hell, that was great.
Listen,
there was one around. I would probably go to it now, but
Ponderosa is on my list, and I actually have a funny story from Ponderosa because I worked there. So I worked at Ponderosa as, I don't know, I was 16 or 17 because that was around the time where, you just kind of hop job to job to job. And so Ponderosa is obviously on my list too, because their chicken wings are untouched. They're the best chicken wings ever, and the Ranger cookies are still the best cookies I've ever eaten in my life. They have one in Alliance, by the way. If you ever drive down there, they have them, and the chicken wings are still delicious. 16 or 17 years old, and I'm working at Ponderosa, and I thought that, at that time I was trying to be cool, and I remember smoking a cigarette. So I would go to work and try and smoke cigarettes, and then before I'd come home, because I was a dishwasher, so I always just smelled like absolute trash from the food in there. But one day, at this time, I didn't drive, and my father decided he was going to pick me up from work early. So I had a very timed schedule that I knew how that would work. Like, I would have to empty out my trash, take out the trash. That would give me exactly 5 minutes. I could smoke and then get back in there and smell like sweat and stuff again. Well, for whatever reason, my father decided he was going to come pick me up from work early that day. And that, my friend, is one of the most terrifying moments of my entire life. As I'm taking out trash, and I look over, and my father says, "What the blank is in your hand right now?" And I just turned into like a stuttering Stanley. I'm like, and he's like, go in there and clock out. You're done here. All right. Well, it was good knowing you guys. So that's my Ponderosa story.
My dad just fired me from my job.
Yeah. I'm probably going to die tonight, guys. But so Ponderosa is my number 3. My number 2 is another one that I worked at. Nichols Movie Theater. The movie theater.
Sticky Theater.
I loved that place. When I worked there, before I worked there, I don't care if it was dirty or gross. I honestly, I think it was better to watch movies there than even in the mall. It just had a better 100%. Feel. And then
still hear my tennis shoes sticking.
I have a funny story about the Sticky Theater. I have a really funny story about the Sticky Theater, if you don't mind. Ahead. All right. So when I was 17, I hung out with, still my buddy David. But we had another group of friends, the 2 Carter boys, Zach and Alex Carter, Josh Webster, and Tim Berg. Okay. So I got into a car accident that wasn't my fault. And my dad decided to ground me for my car. Okay. For like 7 years. Okay. So Webster picks me up. We go to his brother's house, which was across the street from Cap's Pizza. And that was the first time I ever indulged in an illicit substance that you roll up.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, hey, we're going to go see Grandma's Boy. Okay? Grandma's Boy just came out.
Solid.
So I was destroyed, and we go in there, and Ashley Lehman and Amanda Lehman, these two twins, are working there. And I'm out of my mind. And they're like, Tom, what do you want? And I was like, I want some Twizzlers. And I didn't like Twizzlers. And I ate, and I bought them. And Ashley gives me them, and she opens them for me. She's like, I'm going to take one. So she eats one. Out of my mind, I just take one out, and I'm like, what'd you just do? And I took it, and I smacked her across the face with a Twizzler. And she looked at me, and she said, you know what? You're effing out of here. And literally, she pushed me out the window, smacked my face on the door, and that's how I have a chip in my tooth right here, actually. Oh, yeah. Boy.
Yeah, me and Ryan worked there for, I don't know, it seemed like a
2
super
years.
long, yeah, it seemed like a super long time, but we caused all kinds of hell. We would get in spitball fights on a very regular basis. We worked with a guy that was like an amateur artist, and then we had another new guy that started, and he drew a part of a male's anatomy on all of his drawings, and I almost pissed my pants that day because he chased him throughout that entire movie theater that day. Meanwhile, Ryan is just gaslighting the whole time, just laughing his ass off, because the owner of the theater at that time was about 170 years old and lived in Pennsylvania, and our manager at that time were like 22. So we're like, we do what we want. So anyway, but yeah, Sticky Theater. And then my number one, and it's really because I used to have a lot of fun going to this place with my dad, so it's kind of sentimental for me, is the flea market. The flea market. So we would go to the flea market all the time. That was back in the day when I bought baseball cards and stuff like that. My dad was always looking at different stuff in there. So there was a flea market on Tannery Hill, and there was also a flea market across the street from Giant Eagle. The one on Tannery Hill, next to the Gentleman's Club, actually had some better stuff. That Gentleman's Club probably makes it on quite a few people's list, but we'll save that for another show.
Which name?
There was. One was a fruit, and the other one was a Disney princess. We'll put it down.
All right, the time is now 10:52. We're definitely over like usual, but hey, I want to thank everyone for joining us. Nick, special thanks to you, buddy, for coming on.
Very much, Nick,
really appreciate it, Nick. Yep, thank you, buddy. Hey, Friday coming up, 8:30, and then some cool stuff coming up. We got a little bit of time before it comes up, but we do have some stuff lined up for high school football coming up here soon. So everyone join us. Can't wait to talk about that when it does come. We'll let you guys know. So this is Ryan signing off. Thanks again, guys. Really enjoyed the show tonight.
Take it easy, everybody. Look forward to seeing you Friday.
Later, guys. See you on Friday.
Thanks for having me on, and Sam, happy anniversary to you and Jess.
Oh
yeah,
I had to put it in there.
The
anniversary.
Talk about the biggest asshole on the panel. Oh boy! All right, we'll see y'all on Friday, 8:30. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, the Tube of You, all that fun stuff. I don't care. And don't forget, Danny Reed's about to be a blogger with us on 440andgold.com. Special thanks to Tom. So see y'all in a couple days. Deuces.
See ya. Rebound taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry. Back to Iguodala. Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. We got Sam Ryan time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spending with Sam Ryan time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and gold. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.